everybody, and welcome to Taff's Words. I'm going to put this one out to follow up from the last one that I did. The last one that I did was very much a case of, a statistical view of our season so far, and to look and sort of dissect into where the problems have been lying. Obviously, with the downfall in form, but regardless of the fact that I obviously painted a pretty bad picture of where things have gone wrong. I still think there's a lot of people that are overreacting somewhat with regards to our poor form. To be honest with you, we've punched above our weight for the last 3 years, under Flynn. Well, I'm including this in that three. We've had FA Cup ties, we've had 2 trips to Wembley again. I mean, obviously we had the Great Escape just before all that. So, to be honest with you, we've been a bit spoilt, and I think we're raising the bar a little bit too much with regards to the expectations we're putting into the manager and the players of our club at the moment. But then obviously, there's some key differences that I picked out the last time from last season to this season. But thankfully, I can say that some of these statistics are changing somewhat, and it's quite nice to see. I mean, it's quite good in the fact that you can see the difference in the type of football that we try to play at the moment. What we're trying to do is keep it on the deck a little bit more rather than hoofing it up in the air to Matt all the time. I mean, we are pumping it forward, but what I like and what I hope we do a little bit more of is if we're going to play Matt, is getting the ball on his chest, because I think his ability to bring the ball down serves him better as a holding, as a target man or holding striker, a ball holding striker, than flicking it to his head, because if he doesn't get either, well, you can call it I call it bullied. He does get physically manhandled an awful lot and doesn't get any protection from any referees. So I feel for him in that regard, to be honest with you. But then at the same time, he should be a bit more robust himself. But still, what you've got to realise then as well is we're putting it to his head all the time, and it's ineffective. But when we get the ball to his chest or to his feet, then he's a lot more effective, and he comes into the game an awful lot more. So I think a lot of the criticism for Jammer has been quite unwarranted. People who don't really understand what it's like to play football, haven't really played it at a decent level before, don't understand the game as well as the people who are involved in it. Who do it for a living, for example. They'll make their judgments, and it will be quite baseless. By saying Jammer's crap this year is pathetic to say, because last season he was phenomenal, and that was because we were using him in the correct way. He's more effective with the ball in the air, not for flicking on, but for actually heading the ball at goal. And we haven't created enough opportunity for him to head the ball at goal. But anyway, we're going to go into, basically since I did my video following the Morecambe game, we've played 4 league games, 6 games in total. So just going to run through some of them. I've got some statistical screenshots to show you with regards to the league games. For some reason, those statistical screenshots are not available in the cup games, but I will talk about them. So the first game, of course, here we go, is Exeter. So with Exeter, as you'll see, possession-wise, I've mentioned that the statistic of 23% possession. Now, whether that's correct or not, because it does seem extremely far-fetched, but whether that's correct or not, it's quite obvious to see that we are hoofing the ball an awful lot, and the teams who are playing football against us. And it's good to see that we've obviously changed that now. As you can see, we had 10 attempts at goal, 44.7% possession. So for me, that's pretty much what you'd expect to see from an away team in League Two. Pass success rate is a bit of a concern for me. 44% pass success rate. That's not great, really, is it? Considering Exeter are 61. And that's probably why they're doing better than us in the league, is because they're converting their passes more. Our ability to dribble is obviously there, and I think pretty much comes down to the fact that, and imagine those dribbles went up when the likes of Collins and Nurse came on. As you can see on the right hand side there, that they came on. Tristan Abrahams came on. I look at this lineup now and I think to myself, it's not the best lineup we could have put out, really, is it? We could have put a more effective lineup out, but at the end of the day, it was what it was. I think we were in the game throughout. I think we lost to a poor goal, really. Coming to think of it, it wasn't a great goal to give away. It could have been avoided if someone had cleared the ball, maybe. But as you can see here now, it was an indifferent performance. It was better for me. The game we played much better than we were playing beforehand. So for me, I took positives from this personally, even though we lost. But then, there we go. That was the exit of the game. 44.7% possession, considering whether my statistic is right or not, our possession wasn't enough, and I think we've got to be looking to hit over 40% possession every game. We got 44.7 against one of the better teams in our league at the moment. So I was happy, to be honest with you, with that possession stat. So on to Leyton Orient. So as you can see now, there's the home team. 55.4 possession, that's exactly where we need to be when we're at home. Total shots, 19 shots to 7. So if you look at that, and we hadn't got the equalising goal against them, it would have been a bit of a, equalising goal. Yeah, we got the equalising goal, that's correct, yeah. So if we hadn't got the equalising goal, I think it would have been a bit of an injustice, really, because you can't say that they played better than us during the game, whether you were there or not. We out-dribbled them. Our pass success rate was 53%, so that was good to see. So you can see when we're making the most of our passes and we're keeping the ball, we're more effective because we've had 19 attempts at goal. Obviously, it's about sticking the ball in the net. But it's a step in the right direction because we got the draw in the end. But really, we should have looked to have won that game, to be honest. But it was quite a nice game to be at, obviously, with Justin Edinburgh's family being there and some of our ex-players. It was nice to honour Justin in the way that we did. So there we go. That was the Leyton Orient game. I have to take a note of the fact that was 55.4% possession. Again, whether that statistic was correct from the last video or not, it came from a reputable statistical website. So I don't see any reason why it wouldn't have been. Next game was, of course, Cheltenham at home. We were expecting this one to be a much tougher game, of course, than the Leyton Orient game. As you can see there, 40.1% possession. Regardless of the fact Cheltenham have been doing well of late, I still think that possession stat is poor, extremely poor. 59.9% possession away from home. They'd have been absolutely delighted with that. As a team, they would have been really happy with it. Obviously, we had the lead until towards the end. I suppose they would argue that if they didn't get the equaliser, it would have been a bit of an injustice, although we utilised that possession well enough to obviously have had one more shot at goal than them. But what I'm liking is the fact that we're out, the dribbles are better. At least we're being a bit more positive. We're running at them a little bit more. I still think we can do even better than that, but we're going to touch on that a little bit later on when we talk about new signings. But as you can see there, yeah, they got the equaliser late on. I think the substitutions we made were poor. Not for the fact that we brought Hammond on. Of course, Hammond is great. But Maloney and Dolan, I think we lacked in the midfield when they came on. And I think we opened the door for them. And I think we were the masters of our own downfall with the substitutions in that one. But the pass success rate, 48%, that was a concern. I think I was more towards the end. I think we were giving the ball away a little bit too easily. So there we go. That was the Cheltenham game. So finished 1-1 as well. Still looking for that win, though. That was the thing. Q Scunthorpe away. Here we go. So Scunthorpe away. Possession stats look a bit bleak, but we were the away team, I suppose. But we still managed to get 18 attempts at goal with that 41% possession. Pass success rate is the big concern there of only 37%. But we won this game 2-1. We went down 1-0. We got the equaliser, they went down to 10 men and we scored the winner. I think that was the order that it happened in. The dribbles weren't quite so good, but it's just madness, isn't it? I mean, we're talking about pass success rates and possession and dribbling and things like that being key factors to our game, but those stats were particularly poor in that, and we won the game 2-1. It just goes to show that people who are saying that our football has been as bad as they're making it out to be, like we lose a game, oh, we were awful. It's so easy to just pass off a performance as awful. It does get you down a bit, doesn't it? But anyway, there we go. That was the 4 league games. What I've done, I've taken an average possession from those 4 league games, and considering I had our average possession before these games at 23%, 45.3% is the average possession. So it's a big step in the right direction, keeping the ball. We only lost 1 in 4, whereas we were losing games a little bit more frequent beforehand. So keeping the ball is obviously an effective tactic to get better results. Moving on, obviously we lost 3-0 to Millwall. I think it was it wasn't an upsetting day. It was quite sad to see that our fight in the FA Cup wasn't quite as there as it was last season, the season before, but at least we're still in a cup competition. Obviously, we beat MK Dons 3-0 in the Leeson.com trophy, so we're 2 games away from Wembley again. It just goes to show all this doom and gloom that was going on, and we're back to being 2 games away from Wembley. It's quite crazy. So obviously, within those games, we had the beginning of the January transfer window, and we've got quite busy actually. 4 out and 4 in. Maloney has gone back to Charlton. Keanu Marsh-Brown has left the club by mutual consent. Matt Namara's gone back to Millwall, and we're thinking the reason he was recalled was to recover from his injury, because he went under the knife days after leaving us. And of course, we've sent out Corey Whiteley on loan. A lot of discontent around Whiteley going. Personally, I was one of those people thinking that way. But you look at this now. You look at the 4 that's come in. So Billy Waters on loan from Northampton. As much as it's an underwhelming signing, you got to give the guy a chance. What's the point on writing someone off before they've even kicked the ball for us? There's absolutely nothing logical about that whatsoever. So you've got to give the guy a chance. The same as Gorman. I mean, you're saying, oh yeah, if we're loaning players from the same division. Well, look at Ben Kennedy last season. How good was he? I know he didn't play as often as he probably should have, but when he did play, he looked bloody good, and I was really hoping we were going to sign him in the summer, and I was quite disappointed that we didn't make at least the attempt to do that. But those 2 players, Waters and Gorman, both of them are yet to figure for us, but I'm sure they'll get their chance at some point. We made 2 exciting signings following that then as well. I mean, at the end of the day, we've got to have a squad, and we've got to be careful with our budget. We can't just throw money at everyone that we can and leave ourselves short at the end of the season. So I'd imagine the Waters and Gorman loans are a price-effective way of filling our squad. Ashley Baker from Sheffield Wednesday is an exciting signing. I think we're set down the left with Haynes and Nurse. Matt Namara wasn't quite the player I was hoping he was going to be on a consistent basis. Ledbetter has been injured and hasn't figured really at all, has he? I've hardly seen him play for us. But Baker, now we're talking, and we paid for him. And the pleasant surprise was that no one moaned that we've paid money for a player. That people are actually happy that we've gone out and got someone good, which is great. It's great to actually see the fans all get behind something. The other one as well is Jordan Green. Now, Jordan Green played for us on loan 4 years ago, and there's a lot of people who were writing him off because he wasn't the best of players 4 years ago. It's like, well, 4 years is a bloody long time, I mean, 4 years ago, Marcus Rashford wasn't even on the scene at Man United. You're going to say Marcus Rashford, Uzi, players improve, especially when they're young, and especially when they got the pace and the ability that Jordan Green has got. Jordan Green tore us apart for Yeovil and earned himself a move to promotion-pushing Barnsley of League One, and he got promoted with them. He played, I think it was 12 games for them, and now he's now a Championship player, and he's come to us on loan, turning Hearts down. I mean, he's a much different player considering he was playing under Graham bloody Westley for us in 2016. And now, 4 years on, he's got to be light years better than what he was, and I think he is an absolutely great signing. Absolutely great signing, and it's exactly what we need. Someone with a bit of pace to terrorise defences with. You know, I mean, what we've been doing hasn't been effective. We need to try something different. Jordan Green gives us that something different, so I'm absolutely delighted with that one. So, upcoming games, Swindon. I'm not going to go too much into Swindon because obviously we got the preview with Henry coming up tomorrow, so keep your eyes peeled for that one. But I do have a good feeling about that. That's what I'll say about that one for now. But then, obviously, on Tuesday, we got the Leicester under 23s. We beat them and we're one game from Wembley again. One game away from making an absolute mint for the club. I mean, just beating Leicester now will make money for the club, good money. So, I really hope that plenty of people turn up for that one and get behind the boys, because they're going to need all the support they can get. And as long as they can feel confident that the fans are there behind them, and you know they can use their quality and experience against the young Leicester team, bully them, physical them, put them under immense pressure, make them fall under the strain, and I think we're on a bloody winner there. I think we should win that game. We absolutely should. And I think Flynn will go strong and he will prioritise this cup now. No point prioritising a cup like that in the early stages, because you want to build up some momentum in the league. You want to keep yourself fresh for the League Cup and FA Cup, of course. But now, we're out of both League Cup and FA Cup and still in this, we may as well prioritise it because the club needs the bloody money. So there we go. A bit of a long-winded one. I felt like I had to make up for a bit of lost time. So, yeah, I'm going to try and make these a little bit more regular now. Thanks for those who participated in our poll. The two highest ones on there are the ones that I am going to implement on. So more Taff's words. So here I am, and then more fan interviews. So I will be making the effort on match days to pull fans to one side, and we will also be putting the steps in motion to what's the word I'm looking for? No, to bring back Amber Talk. I was thinking for a clever word then, but it's a bit late at night and my head is bloody fried from a long day at work. So there we go. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Hope to see you all at the game against Swindon and then obviously against Leicester. And hoping by the time I do another one of these, we'll be one game from Wembley and another 3 points better off in the league. Thanks for watching again, and until the next time, cheerio for now, and as always, up the county. Many thanks for watching the latest content on the Amber Army channel. Please make sure you leave us a like. Make sure you subscribe for more content, both for the neutral football fan and also plenty of Newport County. Even more Newport County content can be found on the club's iFollow channel on the link above. It is just £4.49 per month to subscribe to that service. And those of you feeling extra generous can also support us on Patreon on the link at the bottom there. That would be a monthly donation of your choice. Thank you again, make sure you've subscribed, and as always, up the county.